Hey guys, welcome to Coaching with Chris. I am excited as I have Amir Syed with me today. But first, listen, go to our YouTube channel, go to our podcast. We're on Spotify and Apple. Please join. I want to make sure that you're getting this information, but I have watched this guy from afar. I have never actually ever had a conversation with him. I'm excited to be able to dive in. He's got a cool event actually right around the corner. Amir Syed, how are you today? And welcome to Coaching with Chris.
Chris, thanks for having me. I'm honored to be here with your crew, and excited for this time together, man. Thank you.
So, like, you started in mortgage. I've got to get to know you just like everybody else. But I know a lot of my friends, a lot of my customers are coaching with your program. They're raving about you. But let's go back to the beginning. When the heck did you get into mortgage?
Oh man, mortgage. So I have a crazy story. Taking it even further back, some people know this story about me, but it's important for my testimony. I was born in Iran, and Iran and Iraq had an 8-year war in the 80s, and 1 million people died. My uncles came back from war with post-traumatic stress disorder. It was really bad times. And so my mom and dad got up, we left. We went, just me. I had no siblings, no grandparents, no aunts, no uncles. We just left, just us three. Went to London. Parents couldn't get a job there, too expensive. Went to San Francisco, too expensive. And we had a distant friend in Chicago, and that's where we landed. And my mom couldn't get a job at McDonald's, and she was a teacher back home. My dad was a shoe salesman making $3.75 an hour, fighting high school kids for hours, And so it was very difficult. I got bullied a lot. English is my second language. Moved around a lot. Barely graduated high school. I had a 1.7 GPA. Went to college for like a couple semesters, but I met another kind of young Middle Eastern kid in college, and he came into class. He started coming to class with a suit on, and I'm like, dude, why are you wearing a suit? And he goes, I got a part-time job as an account executive at World Savings Bank. And I said, World Savings Bank? Yeah. You know some of the old timers on this call, Option Arm City, right? I said, World Savings? I said, there's a bank in the world that you could put your savings in? And he started cracking up. And so he explained the whole account executive role to me, like, working with mortgage brokers and stuff. And he's like, dude, you should get into this business. This is 2003, right? It's a subprime mortgage, kind of boom. Oh, yeah. And at the time, I was really nervous. I was working for my dad. He had a small car dealership at the time near Wrigley Field. He started his own business. And I said, Dad, I lived at home till I was 27, like a good young Middle Eastern boy would do. And he goes, you have no bills. You have no pressure. He goes, we came here with nothing. He goes, you can't work from wherever. You got to work for somebody else to see what it's like. Go do it. And it was a huge relief. So I dropped out. And my first interview, Chris, I'll never forget this. I was so nervous. I called, my friend got me the job. This kid from college, he got me the job. He says, there's this new brokerage, former AmeriQuest guys. They're killing it, and they're young guys. He goes, they're looking for guys to join their company. And I said, man, just give me any opportunity. I hate school. I'll do anything it takes, right? So I get this interview, and I tell Kevin Taylor, shout out to him. And I said, hey, can I come in for an interview? He goes, come by on Friday at 1 o'clock. I said, that's lunchtime. How about I bring you some lunch? He goes, no, don't worry about it. I had just read a quote that the way into a man's heart is through his belly. So I'm like, if I bring him lunch, I'll get the job. So I said, okay, no problem. But I was like, I'm bringing this guy lunch. So I called a Persian restaurant in Chicago, ordered 6 platters of shish kebab. I had no money. I said, Dad, I need a suit and I need some dress shoes. He said, go in these apartment buildings that I own. Here's the key for the laundry room machines. Get the quarters, go to the bank, whatever you can get, that's what you go to buy your suit. So I collected $320, went and bought this tacky ass suit, tacky ass shoes, picked up the food, went to MapQuest, drove all the way to the office. I'm thinking it's gonna be some big corporate suite. Open the doors, like 6 guys, cold calling. And I'm like, okay. They're like, it's Kevin. He's like, what's in the bags? I'm like, I bought you guys some Persian food. They smashed it. I got the job, and when Kevin was walking me out, he goes, you never even asked me what you're gonna be doing. I said, well, what am I gonna be doing? He goes, you're gonna be cold calling homeowners that basically have a high interest rate and convincing them to give you an application. You're gonna get their social security number so we can check credit, and you're gonna hand those applications off to the top producers, and they're gonna lower their mortgage rate. I said, hold up a second. We actually stopped walking. I said, I'm gonna be cold calling people. They have no idea I'm calling. They go, no. I go, and you want me to get their social security number? He goes, yeah. I go, is this anybody else doing this? He goes, yeah, everyone's doing it. So fast forward, long story longer, I became the top telemarketer in the country. I got very good over the phone. I always brag about it. I think I'm one of the best cold callers in the country. I learned how to say hi, how are you in almost 25 different languages in perfect enunciation, because I would see their last name It was the fastest way for me to build trust and reduce tension. I started taking all these apps, and Kevin would tape these $20 bills in the pipeline board, Chris. And he goes, every time you get an app, drop the application, manual 1003, take the $20, and that's how you get paid. So I started seeing 6 months later, all these producers high five and celebrating every app I put in the bin. I'm like, Kevin, why are these guys going crazy? He goes, kid, every app you're taking, these guys are closing. Whatever you're saying on the phone. And I said, well, what does that guy make a month? I said, what does that guy make? He said, he made 40 last month. I said, he made 40 last year? He goes, no, he made 40 last month. I said, he made 4 last month. I was hearing things that I wanted to. He goes, 40,000 last month. I said, I'm out, and I've never looked back in the mortgage business. So I know you asked me a simple question. I gave you a long answer, but it would have some of the sprinkles of excitement in that story out, you know?
Yeah, I love that. I remember getting introduced to the mortgage business, and back then, you know, we were all paid on profit, which we're paid on profit today too, kind of. But when you made that convert, and I go, is this legal?
That's legal? Right.
Like, it's too good to be true. But that was kind of my first question. My second question, the guy was, well, what does success look like? And he told me to be Oscar the Grouch. So I still got Oscar the Grouch painting. He said, all you got to do is have a can and have a sign outside that says money for sale. You'll be great. I learned quickly that is not the secret to the mortgage business, but I'll never forget that guy. He no longer is in the mortgage business, so Oscar the Grouch never worked for him. So then fast forward. So you worked your way through this. Did you stay in retail? Did you go to the broker side? Like, where did you go?
So that was a brokerage firm in 2003, and they skyrocketed. You know, quick money. But thank God for my parents, man. I just always kept my head down. You know, I have a whole saying for myself is like, keep your head up when you're losing, keep your head down when you're winning, you know, and I just kept my head down, saved every single penny. You know, my parents really guided me, and a lot of these guys crashed and burned, and no judgment on them. I'm still friends with a lot of them, and I just saved and I bought my first property. My father said, look, this mortgage business is your primary earning, but he goes, real wealth will come in with how you can capitalize what you're learning in real estate. He goes, buy some apartment buildings, hedge, right? Get through the storms. And that was really good sage advice. So he says, save X amount of dollars, be a good saver. It's not about how much money you make, but how much you keep and how much you invest and how much you give. And so that went a long way with me. I like numbers. So he set a goal for me how much I should save. So I worked 6 days a week, man. I sacrificed a lot in my early 20s. I lived at home, and I bought a 17-unit building in 2005. I still own it to this day. And so when the Great Recession happened, or the Great Crash happened in 2008, that building really saved me, man. I went and launched my own mortgage company at 26. I was subsidizing expenses with the cash flow from the building. I made it through the storm, and then I merged in 2012. The biggest mistake I made early in my career, Chris, is I got out of production, right? And I became a non-producing. For me, this is me personally, for knowing what my strengths are, right? Like I said, okay, I stopped producing. I'm bringing all these loan officers on. I'm coaching them. They're all just tripling their business. But I felt kind of like I had to be in the trenches, and I love to sell. So in 2012, I was really down and out. I was broke. I lost my brokerage. You know, it was a crazy time, and I was young, kind of arrogant, you know, and I just working through a lot of different things as a young man. And I said, you know what? Where is my happiness? It was producing. So I went to a Modern Mortgage Summit. I think that's not whatever the Steve event is in Las Vegas, that famous event. I know
what you're talking about.
Yeah, they bring all the speakers out. And so I was so excited. I got there a day early, and I showed up at 9 a.m. and nobody was there. And it was actually the next day. So I said, I'm going to be a great student. I'm going to be back tomorrow. I sat front row. And one thing growing up in business, I always say I have a 1.7 GPA in school, but I got a 4.0 in the street. Like growing up in a small business, working every Saturday, working every summer break. Since I was 14, I was a janitor, I was a car porter, I was a car salesman. I learned a lot. And so these guys were all coming on stage, and my bullshit meter was just going, and I'm like, these guys they're speaking with so much generality. Are they really doing the work? Like, and I never trade places with, I never take advice from someone that I can't trade places with. So I'm looking, I'm like, would I trade places with this person? Does this person have some humility? Does it look like they have harmony in their personal life? And I'm not judging, but I'm like, no. And finally, two guys came on stage, and I got to give them a shout out. It was Todd Screama and Josh Sigmund from the Core Training. They get on stage, and they're like, no lights, no fog machine, no music, like very bland guys. And they're breaking down their business in so much specificity. It was like I was born again mortgage man, and I said, I'm going to get coached by these guys. And I realized like the fastest way to level up is just write a check for knowledge transfer. And so I got back in personal production with their coaching, and I just took off. And then as I did more volume, my guys did more volume. Then I started attracting more recruits. And so it's been kind of 2-3 chapters in my career. So the last 10 years, I've been in the retail world. And then from about 6 months ago, I decided to become I was chief growth officer at Lower. And so this is kind of the journey, 20 plus years, man. So it's been quite a journey, man. A lot of battle scars, and so.
I'm sitting here saying we have never met, and our story is almost the same.
I love to hear it, man.
So I was at that conference.
Oh,
I did listen to Todd, Josh, Shayla, Jeremy. I did go there and said, you have to save me. I did say that I am a non-producing manager that is burned out and has no joy. And I'm thinking, holy crap, here you are telling me the same thing.
We probably sat next to each other, man.
I didn't sit in the front row. I was too scared. But I only went because my loan officers were going, and I was going to be the supervisor.
Right.
Keep everybody and behave in Vegas. That's crazy. Absolutely crazy. Now you're CEO of Go Coaching. Are you still producing? Are you still in anything in the mortgage side, or is it just all running this coaching group?
It's so yes, great questions, Chris. Appreciate it very much. It's funny you asked, because I was on the phone today with one of my very close friends, Chris Haynes, out in Tennessee, and he asked me the same question. And I said, Chris, never in my wildest dreams that I thought on January 1st, 2022, 8 days before my daughter was born, that I would see Go Coaching take off the way it has. Like, Todd actually taught me this. There's job, career, and a calling. And I had asked him, I said, well, Todd, how will I know when something's my calling? And he said, it's when it keeps calling you. And I said, oh, that's pretty simple. And so there was 2 major milestones that happened in my career that really opened my eyes, that I think coaching is where my heart is at, where I'm really good at. And so when we launched Go, Growth Only Coaching, it took off like crazy, Chris. And I said, oh my gosh, like, I wanted to do $1 billion a year in production, because Shant Banazian is my very close friend, and we were at the same company at the time. We have a simulation. He's Armenian, my wife's Armenian, I'm Persian. So I said, okay, if he can do it, I can do it. I want to do $1 billion. Yeah. But God kind of, I'm on a mission from God, as I always say, right? Like, shout out Blues Brothers, my favorite movie of all time. And I said, this is what I want to do. This is where I'm going to go. And it was at the point of no return. And we just started coaching. And I said, okay, I can't do it. I can't do both. Like, it's impossible. So Justin, my co-founder, who I got in the mortgage business 16 years ago, I said, Justin, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to give you 90% of my book of business, right? You go 90% personal production, 10% kind of coach's mind. I'll go vice versa. So the only prospecting I do now is I worked really hard for my financial advisor book of business. It's about 35% of my book of business. It's been a huge blessing for my career, because I'm able to refer unrepresented qualified home buyers. And so I do 1 2-hour power hour a week just for my financial advisors, but my team captain sees it. It keeps me sharp. I enjoy it. I enjoy talking to them, and that's exactly right. And so Suzette, my right-hand person, handles all my point of sales, my initial loan consultation, my rate lock consultation, my post-closing consultation, and Justin inherited all my realtors because they already knew him. And so we're just, dividing and conquering, man.
Yeah. So there was a call. There was a seed planted, and you wanted to be a coach. And you started this coaching company. Like, when was the day that the seed was planted? You're like, I'm going to go do this.
Yeah, powerful question, man. Two things happened. Number one, I got invited to speak in front of a lot of financial advisors, almost 100 of them in Chicago. And the managing director, who I just was on his podcast 2 weeks ago in Miami, very grateful for this man. He saw something in me, and he said, I want to invite you for our mega event, and I want you to share with the financial advisors I have this strategy where I can get my foot in the door with anybody. I have this tactic, right? I have it like on a slide deck and everything at the time. He saw it. He goes, dude, this is incredible. He goes, can you do a 45-minute? I go, okay. So he told his like main wealth manager guy that I was coming, and he wasn't really like, why are you bringing a loan officer? He goes, no, this kid is like the complete package, right? And so I went and spoke. They gave me a standing ovation at the end. I was shocked. I'm like, what? So the head guy and the managing director grabbed me afterwards and say, hey, we want to, he goes, the head guy was like, wow, I'm blown away. He says, I want to pay you every month to come in. I want to put you on a retainer. And I was like shocked, Chris. I told the story a few times. I was like, why do you want to pay me? He goes, you deserve to get paid for what you're doing. He goes, I want to lock you in for 12 months to bring you in. And I said, well, how much? He says, well, how much do you want? And I had just finished watching a Gary Vee, like whatever, I listened to a podcast, and he talked about how he just threw some random number and don't talk afterwards. I threw some random number. I mean, the number was 5 digits, right? Or five figure. And they said, okay. And I'm like, okay. And I went home and I told my wife, she goes, I've been telling you, no one knows a man better than his mom and his wife. She goes, I told you, this is your calling. And so I ended up doing that. And then the second time was I started getting a ton of people across the country calling me to coach them. And I'm like, dude, I'm not a coach. And they said, no, every time I get off the phone with you, you're so tactical. What you say literally works. And then I would look at my calendar and I just would get excited to coach people. And I said, and then God really has blessed me so much, man. So many other doors, like divine intervention happened, doors opened. And I'm like, okay, this is a sign. I'm doing this. And so those are the two markers in my life. And here I am. Let's see what tomorrow holds.
So cool. That's a cool story. Do you still help those financial planners today? Are they still part of your group?
Handful of them. Great question. A handful of them are still with me. They still refer. I was on the main guy. I live in Miami now. I'm a Chicago kid for 35 years after we immigrated. Iran.
You couldn't handle the cold?
I couldn't handle the cold anymore, man. No, I got a big nose, man. Sinus infections every winter. I got tired of it, man. So we're in Miami, but that gentleman who put me on that day, he actually was here for a week and he had a podcast and he had me on. He's very well known now in the state of Michigan, and so his career really took off. And we actually talked about it on his podcast, and he asked me the same question, Chris. And it was the first time I actually told him that he was the impetus of me coaching, and it was a kind of an emotional moment for both of us, man. And
yeah,
so I'm still very dear friends with him.
That's cool. So now we got this coaching program going. You've converted. I mean, like, I think it was the other day I was in Orlando with a group, and they're like, "Oh, Chris, you've got to meet Amir, and my coach is amazing." And I go, "Oh yeah, tell me who your coach is." And it was Sean Kaplan, and I go, "Well, I know Sean. He is amazing." And so now, how many students has this grown to in like a very short period of time? Like, I feel like, I was with Jason Purcell last weekend, and he was just talking you up, and I feel like I go, I haven't met Amir yet. Like, I haven't met Amir. And then the other day I was talking in Scottsdale, and I said the 3Ds, and someone said, "Did you get that from Amir?" And I go, "No, I've never even talked to him." And so we laughed about it. But how many students do you have today?
Well, shout out to Jason Purcell. That's my guy. We go way back. We're both core training guys. JP's my guy. I see what he's doing on social. He's, really showcasing his life. So I'm just proud to be his friend.
Amazing.
He is, man. And, I'm also, side note, I'm excited for this time together because I heard a lot about you as well. And it was so cool that you reached out, and I'm happy we finally got to connect like this. But Go Coaching in 27 months, we just hit our 600th member about 2 weeks ago. And so
Wow.
it was amazing, man, because I flew in the entire Go Coaching staff. We have people from the UK, Canada, Hawaii. So we brought in 30 people in Chicago, my hometown, and we did a 1-day offsite. And I put an invincible chair in the room, and I said, in this invincible chair is our loan officer. Everything we talk about today is to support him or her, right? And we rallied around how we can create a better experience, a white glove experience for that student. And during the session, we were going over statistics, and we have like a timeline we created of our journey and different milestones. And it was like, as of today, we're 599. And Sarah, our community success manager, is like, I got to cut you off from here. She goes, you're not going to believe this. And I go, what? She goes, we just hit our 600 member like 10 seconds ago. And we went bananas in the room, Chris. I mean, we went bananas. I mean, the energy was incredible. And, I'm also careful because I'm careful now at my age, where I know how to put the ego in the trunk, right? That there is vanity metrics and sanity metrics. And so for, a split second, we celebrated the vanity, but we have a lot of work to do because my whole life is defined by mile deep, inch wide. And so it's 600 is great, but I mean this from my heart, and everyone knows this. Like every time we lose someone, it crushes me because I hate to lose. I don't really love to win. Every time I feel like we have 4 surveys that go out: 14-day, 90-day, and 150-day. And our community success managers really force people, like in a pleasant way, to complete that. And if we're anything less than an 8, I lose sleep, man. So 600 is great, but we have a lot of work to do to make sure people are feeling really, really taken care of and getting the results,
You made me think about my dad. I lost my dad years ago, but he said to me, Chris, I want you to remember this. People want you to do good, just not too good. And he was reminding me to stay humble.
Wow.
But people still want you to have success, right? I mean, now we all root for people to have success. But when we overdo it or we celebrate, to your point, celebrating too long, like people don't like that.
No.
And then we get confused and it gets foggy and then like your chair deal, I hope anyone's listening today that they just go do that. Like how powerful would it be to be sitting down for a day, to be able to walk through a customer experience and literally visually having that chair right there and everybody's pointing at that chair of how we're going to make that experience better. Like I'm stealing it. That is genius to be able to do that. Did you actually have a chair?
Yeah.
That's
we had
the visual part.
We had name tags for everybody that came in. Kaplan was there, and he's one of our coaches, and it was just a empty chair with a tagline that says "Go Loan Officer," and you know what? Your dad is my dad has so many sayings as well. I love my dad's sayings, but that's the great saying that I always honor your dad with. He's absolutely right, and that's why like the biggest struggle I had in my 20s, I came out making so much money, and ego really got me, dude. And I'm not proud of some of the like ways I went about things at the time, but I'm very careful now to keep ego in the trunk, because like you gotta, man, like I don't want to give anybody advice here, but for me, it's this business, man. It has a way of just having you feel like you're Mike Tyson in his prime, and then having you feel like you're a homeless guy under the bridge. Like the vicious cycles it brings, like no highs, no lows, man. That's what I've learned 20 years of doing this. Like, this can all be taken away tomorrow, and I don't operate under fear, but it's like I watched the movie The Founder, the story about Ray Kroc, and how he bought the McDonald's brothers. And there's a scene in there that's actually in our coursework. I got so obsessed with it because if anyone's seen the movie, it talks about how McDonald's has so much efficiency in their output, right? And there's a scene where the McDonald's brothers took a ladder, put it on the tennis court, gave chalk to all their workers, and they drew the cooking stations. And they said, okay, order comes in, go. And at first they were like running into each other. Then they moved everything around to find efficiency. Well, that was inspiration for me for my personal production business because I put up a lot of volume, $100 million, multiple years in a row. And I found I was working less hours, Chris, because that movie inspired me to get my team from multiple offsites where I said, lead comes in the email, what happens? And we would whiteboard it. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And I first of all, the first session, I'm like, that's what you say to my assistant. I'm like, who taught you that? And she goes, She goes, you taught me that. Like, I'm like, no, do not say that anymore, right? Like, you talk about rates in the first call. I'm like, do not talk about that. But we literally processized it. We put in a manual, and then everyone had less stress. The client had a great experience, and that's what we're doing at Go right now. Is the minute someone raises their hand to show up, what's our entire touch point? Literally every nut and bolt to make sure people win. Because, dude, people have joined Go Coaching for the content. They win from coaching, but they stay for community, is what I've realized, right? So you got to always be obsessed in those three
They
areas.
stay for,
They join for content, right? So they join for like,
but they stay
content.
for the community.
They stay for community and they win for coaching. And you got to hit all three. Minute you think like, the community is good. Like if they're not winning from coaching, they're not going to stay. But if they're winning from coaching, but they don't feel attached and they're in a community, that doesn't last. We're always focused on those things.
That's true. You're bringing back a lot of stories. A few years ago, I'm sitting there with all my managers, and I got one guy that I can't keep him focused on the main thing that he's really good. Like he's a yes man. He says yes to everything, and then he gets too thin, and then he can't do anything great. And I'm like, have you seen the movie The Founder? And he's like, yeah, I've seen the movie The Founder. I says, what'd they do in the parking lot? He goes, they drew it all out. I says, yeah, there was one person, right? And he goes, one person put the pickles on.
I like it, man.
Just put the pickles on. That's it.
Yeah.
And so all the managers named him Pickles. To this day, his name is Pickles.
I gotta meet him, man. I want to meet Pickles.
Yeah, meet Pickles. Like Pickles, you don't say yes to nothing but what pickles on the burger.
Great scene in that movie.
Oh, great scene. I love that scene. So how many coaches do you have today?
We have, let's see, minus Go Agent. So we have a mission. We came out with our mission and vision is to impact 5,000 active community members of LOs, real estate agents, and financial advisors. Like I have this big vision by the year.
You have 3 pillars.
We have three. 2 of the 3 are active. We're launching financial advisor January 1st. Wow. And so LO is our main vertical. We launched Go Agent about 6 months ago, and we're going slow and steady with that. And then the one support column for those 3 pillars is creative, which is run by Mo Ismail. He used to be involved in Forward with, Neil Holm, who's just a legend. I believe he's a pioneer. Sure. So he was with him for a long time, and then spread his wings, came with us. So he does all the creative content, kind of marketing for our community. So that's its own standalone type of vertical as well. But our goal is to be at a 5,000. I picture like 2 events every single year, Chris. Like I have this vision implanted in me where you have some of the most dynamic financial advisors, LOs, real estate agents together in one room with breakout sessions, and they're all doing business together. And they're 90% of our business is all the same from a process standpoint, Mm-hmm. But LO has 600 community members, and I think we're about 30 real estate agents right now. And so, we have different levels. We have different, so our coaches are there's about 10 coaches now that are LO, 8 or 10, and then 2 agent coaches. And so all our coaches are active player coaches. They really have to have 3 things, so we have guidelines around this. One, they have to embrace modern marketing. Like that's a very big part of what we preach is how to be seen before and after you're known, liked, and trusted. We feel like great marketing eases sales and great personal branding. So we feel like we've really mastered that. So they have to put themselves out there through short form, long form content. Secondly is they have to have a support team, like what we call a loan partner 1, loan partner 2 processor, because now you're getting paid to paid for. You're giving up 8 to 10 hours a week to coach. You still can't be scheduling your own calls. Like I can't have that. And then 3 is they have to be active player coaches. Like they have to hit a certain amount of production in the last 12 months to stay sharp, and so we've been very blessed to find that. We're definitely short. So if anyone's watching this and they think they have the teacher's heart and they're still in the business, we have a really good problem right now. We need some more coaches, but we're being very diligent there.
Yeah, awesome. I didn't know you had the 3 pillars, which I think is really exciting. And I don't think anyone's done your 3rd pillar, which you're getting ready to launch, which is super exciting.
Thank you.
I think that's going to be a game
changer. Yeah, I appreciate that very much. And same like your reaction when I've kind of put it out there, the pulse has been overwhelmingly positive. And, I think with financial advisors, like I've learned a lot about the avatar, right? Of like a loan officer, a real estate agent, and a financial advisor. And the financial advisor is very close to the avatar and the characteristics of a loan officer. Real estate agents, unfortunately, many of them are part-time. Many of them, if they're doing it full-time, they're not the breadwinner. Many of them are kind of like transient in the business. Many of them, are just not coachable, and so it's a very finicky, type of like industry. But financial advisors, man, like they a lot of them have to go out and have X amount of METS. They have to have X amount of prospecting. They have to have X amount of conversations. They're very structured. They're a little bit more financially type of discipline. So I feel like that world is highly untapped when it comes to marketing and sales coaching. Many of the coaches, first of all, that are out there, there's a huge change happening right now, Chris, in the marketplace because there's a transition demographically, right? So you have some of the older heads, right, they're unable to understand the new modern ways of marketing and selling. The new generation like me, we're coming in and we're understanding it. And the financial advisor world, oh my gosh, it is what I call blue ocean. Red ocean, sharks are fighting bloody. Blue ocean, open seas. And these younger guys that are coming up that have good amount of assets in their management, that understand time blocking and how to do marketing. Oh, dude, the future is so, so exciting in that world.
I 100% agree. 100% agree. So let's do a little couple coaching tips today. He doesn't know that I'm going to say this, so this will be totally off the cuff. But I always want to give loan officers 3 tactics. Okay, you ready?
Yeah.
You got facial expression telling me you're excited or like, oh, Chris, what is Chris going to say?
No, I'm just looking. I'm gonna take. No, I'm sorry. Sometimes I just want to take some notes. You did definitely caught me off guard with that, but I want to take some notes.
Yeah. So my theme of the week is this. I always give my loan officers and AEs a theme of the week. So the theme of the week is challenges and opportunities. And I feel like many loan officers today look at challenges so great that the fear and everything comes into side that they just can't get themselves over. Like they can't take a challenge and convert it to an opportunity because it's something, there's a roadblock somewhere. There's a mindset. There's just a misdirection. Something happens to them and it like limits them to all of this, as you call blue ocean, opportunity that is in the market today. Like there are loans happening. You're just not getting them. And what would you give for everybody listening today, like 3 things that they need to do to overcome the current challenges that are in the market? And I don't care which way you go. Freedom to go wherever you want.
Okay. Well, I love what you just said there. You said challenges and opportunities. Is that what it was?
Yeah. So my theme is that, look, we have challenges in the market. It's your decision. You can create it and let it roadblock you, or you can change it and make it an opportunity. Your choice. I'm coming to you saying, give me 3 tactics that I can go implement into my business that I can take care of these challenges. And you coach loan officers all across the country. You know when someone's like coachable and that'll actually go out and fight through it. But then the joy of watching them, what happens afterwards, is amazing. What would you tell everybody that's listening today to be able to overcome some challenges in our current market?
Well, I'll say mindset, mind share, and market share. Okay.
Ooh, let's get this in so everybody gets it. Mindset,
yeah. Mind share, like mental mind share, yeah, and market share, right?
Okay.
So when my mindset is very much aligned with what you just mentioned as far as your coaching theme, Chris. So 20 years of doing this, smooth sea never made a skilled sailor, right, dude? Like a lot of these guys and gals are going through a storm like this for the first time. Granted, it's a very unique storm. It's like raining, but there's sunshine, like people are not losing their homes, and like it's a weird storm that we're in. But they're going through this for the first time, and this is the vicious cycles of the business that we go through. You understand? So the mindset is like, dude, if this business was easy, like Jeff Bezos would have came in here a long time ago and wiped all of us out. Like, thank God for our problems, man. Thank God the mortgage business
Right.
is hard, dude. We would not be in this business. Like, so I just always reframe people to be like, dude, if it's hard for you, it's 20 times harder for the next guy next to you. Like, embrace these hard days, right? That's the mindset is like, this too shall pass, right? And this is your rite of passage to make a lot of the money that we sometimes don't even deserve to make in this business. It's crazy, right? So what's mind share? I'm a very specific guy. So the biggest thing that I'm leading my kind of ship in this sea right now is be seen before and after you're known, liked, and trusted. Okay. So what does this mean? It's 5 miles wide, 1 mile deep in this market, right? So it used to be 1 mile deep, 1 inch wide, right? That old saying, right? No, I believe you got to go 5 miles wide and a mile deep. So what does this mean? You have to be really seen nationally on social, which I'll break down the metrics. You have to be very good in how to go through a framework of being known, liked, and trusted and loved, right? So you have to be exceptional marketing, exceptional selling. Mind share is marketing, market share is selling. So what does this mean? Mind share. All my LOs in the program, in the community, 1,000 realtors see me. Market share, 300 know and like me, 50 know, like, and trust me, 10 love me, right? So I said, run to the math. So what does 1,000 realtors see me mean? I want you each to have 1,000 realtor friends on Facebook. Get to the point where you have 1,000 agents following you. Okay, just start those two. So every single day, 1,000 of them see your content. You're also engaging their content. I want 10 hearts and comments, 3 DMs, right? Every single day. Comment for the audience and comment for the author. So I have this thing I put this morning, went kind of viral in our community. I'm like, psychological warfare. When you put a comment on another realtor's post, all the other lows in the market see that, and they automatically set more limitations mentally because they think you're already working with that agent, and you just crush the competition that way. There's multiple facets of celebrating people's posts, right? So then the algorithm will bring you back, put good content, like let them see you every day to get familiar. No one like me is, once you DM someone, they're no more, they don't know of you anymore. They know you now. You've had a DM conversation, you've had a voice to voice over the phone, you've had a screen to screen like this, you've had a Zoom call with them, you've had a face to face standing up, you've had a break bread one on one. You got to get 300 that know you now. If they know you, they should like you. Now, how do you get 50 to know, like, and trust you? So I'm coaching them hard on the 3 levels of rapport. Level 1 rapport is news, weather, sports. Level 10 is family, friends, work. I said, get to level 100, mile deep, pain, vulnerability, right? Aspirations. I want you to be great question askers. Like, we're having such great conversation because you having me feel very important, right? Like, everybody has an invisible sign over their neck that says, make me feel important. So when I tell my LOs, when you are meeting with an agent, first of all, your mindset, don't beg. Never beg when you sell. Don't inferior sell. You have a choice to do business with this person as well. That mentality will come off as confident, but not arrogant. 2, they're on your podcast. So if you're not asking at least 7 to 10 to 12 questions, origin story, like look how I could tell you're very good at what you do because the framework, the timeline you took me in. Tell me how you started. You complimented me. You started like you're a professional. LO's got to learn how to professionally network and ask sequential stories in their selling sequencing, right? Have people feel really important. And then it's you go through the discovery. What makes them tick? What, have they ever fired a lender? Have they been wowed by a lender? Right? And I don't want to go too deep into it, but they'll learn the right question asking. Okay. Then they got to close. And a lot of LOs just don't know how to close succinctly and comfortably.
The secret spot.
The secret spot, dude. But if you know how to discover the right way, you should know how to close. So they're learning my framework of how to contact people, how to build rapport the right way, how to discover it, how to close, and then how to have forever follow-up and being patient. Because what happens is LOs, Chris, they oversell a small audience. They're thinking that they can have these 10 realtors and call them every Monday. Dude, no. You have to have forever follow-up, which is patience. But when you have forever follow-up, you have a wide audience. And you go into every single power hour as a knowledge broker. So what I coach them on is every Saturday, Monday morning, they send out a 3-minute or less read newsletter to all their agents. Optimize subject line, optimize content, one thing. That one thing We equip them with a value bomb. What is one way a realtor can build their business in less than 3 minutes, right? They send that out. It pre-sways before they persuade. They go into their power hour like Andre the Giant, because you're coming from a place of, I've already added money in the bank account. So now I can go in, leave lots of voicemails. Their call to pickup rate goes way higher, because they're not just calling and asking, did you work or did you play, and camouflaging what they really want, which is a lead. They're leading with sincere, abundant, like, value, because they're of value. And now they put this all together, and what's market share? Now you got 50 realtors that know, like, and trust you. Trust as they referred you a lead. 10 of them love you. Love is personal. It's unconditional.
Yes.
You F up alone, they still will work with you. Like, so I'm just doing everything I can with this, with the community right now, to bust the fear of the marketplace with less emotion, and having them have more faith in the math to get them where they need to go. And just today, I put up on Go Coaching's Instagram, I got 2 text messages. I get them all the time. Like, Amir, I just hit 50 leads for the first month, last day of the month. Amir, I just hit 100 leads for the first time. And I share that because their speed to execution, their LTD, learn to do ratio, is so high that I always tell them, have a strong relationship with faith and fear. Don't let faith cripple you. Don't let fear cripple you. Have faith in the math. Just follow the math, and you're going to get massive market share on the other side of this. So that's my 3 tactics right now.
Amazing. And you never even knew what I was going to ask. Like, if you didn't go back, rewind this, re-listen to it, write that down. This is exactly what you follow. And he gave you the tactic. A mindset and a tactic together is the most powerful thing. I think you're going to change a couple loan officers' lives today just because of what you said.
That means a lot to me, man. That is, I struggle. You kind of hit me in an emotional spot there, dude, because I look back on my career, man, like, I was very down and out at one point, and I'm a man of faith. Okay. And I told the story to a few people. I said, God, like, I really need you to help me, like, bring the right people in my life. I have this kind of immigrant chip on my shoulder, because I was always talked down to growing up. And I said, I don't want this anymore, but I'm not good at school. Like, when you're in your deepest pits and things are not going well, you get very tight with God. I hope you do, right? And so you have these conversations. And I said, if you bring the right people in my life, I promise you, I will pay it forward. And he knows my heart, man. God searches man's heart, and he knows my heart. And I had a lot of struggle January 1st, 2022, because I was hell bent on doing $1 billion a year, Chris, and that was my ego. But God has pulled me into this, and it's the most fulfilling thing I found, because, like, the impact is truly greater than the income. And the irony of it all is, man, is like, I make great money when I'm impacting other people. It's all those years of hard work, staying up late, doing those cold calls, documenting my playbooks, and just pouring into other people. Dude, they cry on the phone with me. Their wives call me. It's like the craziest high one can get is when they see people do the work and get the results, dude. It is the craziest drug in the world.
Yeah. Before I sold to this bank, did you know the name of my mortgage company?
No.
It was Journey Mortgage. And the reason why my wife and I called it Journey Mortgage was because we felt like it was our journey of how we got there. And we wanted to be able to help other people with their journey. And so they always tease me like, oh, you named it after the band. I'm like, no, my journey was so hard to get to here, and all the failures and all the crap. And at one point in time, when I started in mortgage, we celebrated when we got paid. We bought one thing back, and Shalise and I bought the shrimp roll at the grocery store, with the shrimp that goes all the way around and the cocktail sauce is in the middle. That's what we bought, and that was celebration. We'd eat that shrimp, we celebrated it, boom, we were off and back to work. And I'm hearing your story, I'm like thinking about, yeah. And by the way, truth confession, about 7 years ago, I found out my nickname in the office. And I go, that's how people talk about me? And my nickname, Amir, was Dynamite.
Oof.
And it killed me. It crushed me. And I'm like, I'm never getting called dynamite again. So I have to fix it. So every once in a while I remind myself, remember, you have a choice. You don't want to be called dynamite again. And to hear what you've gone through is just absolutely amazing. So let me ask you this. You got GrowthCon coming up. Is that tomorrow?
That's tomorrow. Yeah, it's our virtual. We do a virtual event and an in-person event. So tomorrow's a virtual. The in-person's in Dallas, October 11th.
So let's go through. So tomorrow can they still join if they're listening to this? They can come in and register and join?
Yeah, it's completely free. It's completely free.
Free.
It's virtual. There's already, I think there's almost 5,000 LOs across the country registering. So I'll send you guys a registration link. It's from 10 a.m. Eastern to 2 p.m. Eastern. It's a hyper run. There's going to be 5 or 7 of us on there. And guys, I went over the slide deck last night. I got to tell you, like, I do a goosebump test and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know if this is a not miss, because if what I put out, I always say, like, I'm kind of, my free stuff's better than their paid stuff. Like, what we're about to put out tomorrow is like 30 minutes each speaker, and I challenge every single one of my coaches. I'm like, more tactic, get rid of this fluff, get right to it. I want them to feel when they come off, they're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to implement X, Y, Z to a T, and I'm going to get the results. So tomorrow is going to be incredible.
So that's tomorrow.
It's tomorrow, yes.
And then in Dallas, you're doing an event coming in October?
October 11th in Dallas. That's our one. We want to do 2 in-person events, but since we've launched, it's been like running on a bridge with all the planks falling behind us in this business. And so we want to be cognizant of people's dollars. And so we have just one event in person. That's October 11th, Dallas, 1-day event. We're already getting the speaker list, but we haven't finalized, but we finalized location October 11th and the date. So more details will come out.
Okay, cool. Wow, that's going to be cool.
Chris, I'm going to extend you a complimentary ticket. I want you there. It'd be great to have you. We want to make sure the room is filled. Like, dude, as you get to know me, man, like I grew up playing basketball. I'm a point guard, man. Like, I love dropping dimes. Magic Johnson was one of my favorite players. So like the way I roll, dude, like I want like everyone in that room. I don't care if like they're in other coaching companies. Like, dude, I truly ask about me. That's how I roll. I want you there, man. Like, I want the quality of the room to be just dynamic, and I want it to be known as like the mortgage sales event, like in our industry, where it's like super tactics. Like, that to me is important, because I really do believe, man, like motivation without education is just discouragement. Like, there's high ticket speakers and there's high impact speakers. Like, shout out Rene Rodriguez always says that. I believe that. Like, I want to gravitate towards like the Michael Burt's of the world, right? Like, he's on stage with all these other guys, but he gets all the reviews because he's so tactical, and like, I want people to come in here and be like, holy cow, I got a toolbox of stuff that I can implement. I'm not going to have a sugar rush of motivation just fade in a day. Like, that's what I want us to be known as. So
yeah, I would be honored to be there. That's for sure. 100%. So I'm going to be there.
Tell
me now, as we're ending this, right? We got 2 events coming up. We got October 11th. We got GrowthCon. You can join tomorrow. It's free. He's going to get the link for you. If I want to be a member and I want to get involved in your coaching program, and I'm a loan officer listening today, how do I do it? And what does it look like?
Thank you for the plug, Chris. So it's gocoaching.io. So go ! Is kind of our shortened name for growth only. So it's gocoaching.io. Check it out. Attend the virtual GrowthCon tomorrow. You guys can definitely connect with me on social. I put out 3 types of content. So Facebook is very just centered around loan officers. Instagram is high entrepreneurial, just gems from all my years of growing up in business and going from cold caller to baller, as my buddies call me, so going through every stage in this business. And then LinkedIn is a lot of short form written entrepreneurial type of frameworks. And so there's 3 different type of contents I put out. So that's just a great way to just stay connected with me. Go Coaching has basically 5 tiers. Our level 1 foundations is for a lot of loan officers that just can't get past the 50 units in a year. They have like no basic structure at all, right? Our level 2 accelerators allows, there's some guidelines, there's some exceptions we make, but they're trying to get to 100 units in a year and hire their first or second assistant. They have a lot of roller coaster months. They don't have consistent lead generation, right? It's like they're throwing a football to themselves. They go get the loan, they have to come back and execute it, And so we really helped them get to level 3, which is elite. These are all my big dogs, right? Like they don't have a lead generation problem. They just have a scaling problem. They can't take a vacation without their phone blowing up. Business can't grow without them. They necessarily have the right people in the right seats. So we help them a lot. And that's my skill set. Is I believe I'm a scripting and scaling just master, because I worked so hard at it. Level 4 is Peak Plus. This is with Richard Milligan and I. Richard Milligan owns 4C Recruiting. He was my coach for a long time, and so we have a lot of non-producing and producing managers, executives that want to grow their sales team. So he's the teacher, I'm the coach. We help people really get frameworks on in terms of recruiting. And then our highest level is Apex. This is where Sean Kaplan. These are all our coaches that get paid to pay it forward. And so people will go in, book an appointment. You'll have a call with a strategist. It's about an hour long. We get to know you really well, and we'll do a recommendation of which community we think you should be in. And we're really proud at Go. I invested, a lot of money in some of the best e-learning coaches in the world, right? Because I'm like, how much of a hypocrite I would be if I'm telling people fast track your success by writing me a check. So I wanted this. I do the same thing all the time. And so what we found is there's 3 C's to hyper growth in this world right now. It's coaching, classroom, and community. So we're really big on coaching, which is highly tactical one-on-one calls. We believe in classroom, so a lot of self-paced modules. So like there's videos of me at my desk calling agents on Tuesdays to update them, doing my Thursday power hour, playbooks, like having that self-paced coursework is really important. And then 3, the community. Dude, we have this amazing thing called Sales Screen. Everyone's metrics are broadcasted. We can see where people are at in their activity. We gamify it. We create some camaraderie. At any given point, the coaches can come in and see where the inputs and outputs are of the student, right? There's a lot of engagement every day in our private platform called Circle. People are contributing, consuming. People are like posting wins. And so, we do meetups every single month. We have growth con. So that trifecta right there that we've built is really helping people synthesize and just accelerate to get to where they need to go. In about 6 to 12 months is what we find is where people start seeing lasting change. So let's go coaching,
Love it. Love it. Hey guys, if you're listening today and you're thinking, I need a coach, I will tell you it was a coach that changed my life. I know Amir had many coaches in his life that changed his, and we want to change yours. So go check out Go Coaching. Join Growth Con tomorrow. Like, it's free. And it's probably going to change your business. And then you can say, hey, this is a fit for me or not. But like, you have great tiers. You separated it out. Maybe one of you fit into that tier that you're thinking, man, that really fits me perfect. Go do that interview. It'll change your life. Thank you for joining Coaching with Chris Merrimayer. I'm telling you what, this was a blast.
Thank you. Chris, I just want to give a message to you and the audience. Like, this is the time, guys. I want you guys to all hang out with like positive people and winners. This is a very difficult market, no doubt, but it's going to pass. And so level up your community, level up your people you're around, and leaders like Chris that are very gracious and doing this is just surround yourself with the right folks. And I promise you, I've been through this before. I think we're going to see one of the greatest runs. I think we're going to see the roaring 20s. And this is a market of stamina. Show up, keep your head down, like just stay the course, because on the other side of this, it's going to be amazing. I'm promising you, I'm telling you, I feel it doing this as long as I have. This is a great industry. The home is the golden goose of the American economy. Like, it will never slow down. Like, we're an amazing industry, guys. So thank you for having me, Chris.
Yep. Thank you again. See you later.
Bye, everybody.